Hey, so hello everybody. My name is Pedro Sanders, and I'm super excited to be here with Hacking with the Homies. And today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is programmable telecommunications in the cloud, and especially without third-party service providers, open source stuff. So I'm super excited to be here. Just a little bit about me. I am a telematics engineer. Was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, and I moved to the U.S. back in 2010. And decided to join the Army and spent about 10 years in the U.S. Army, and had the opportunity to serve during two tours, one to Iraq and another one to Afghanistan. And back in 2020, maybe 4 months ago, I left the service, and now I'm trying to find my way again to tech. So here I am. Let's see how we do. And so the topic of this talk is going to be Project Fonos. As I mentioned, it's programmable telecommunications in the cloud. And essentially what it is a tool that allows you to add features like voice, video, and messaging to your application. So think like if you have if you're building a tool in your company, or even if you are building your own business and you're required to have these features, then this is an easy way to go on about adding those features. Now, this isn't necessarily new. There's other tools out there that do similar things. One of them is Twilio. The difference is that Project Fonos is a self-managed solution. So if you have a requirement or you have cost constraints, then using a self-managed solution might be the way for you to go. And then to answer the question of why should you care, like I was mentioning earlier, it could be a tool for you to power your next business idea. So you might have a use case in which you need to add those features that I mentioned, and you can use this tool as a MIT license. It's essentially it's an open source tool. And then, another important characteristic is if you need to avoid vendor lock, then this is also a great way to do it, especially because migrating from a vendor to another is pretty difficult. So going with a tool that is open source from the beginning will allow you to avoid that kind of issues. And then the last reason why you should care about this is because you may be part of an organization like a healthcare organization, or maybe a government organization that has constraints or restrictions about running your data through third-party service providers. So that's the third reason. Now, during our practical exercise, I'm going to cover one particular use case, which is generating a phone call through an SDK and calling to a number on the private telephone switch, which is your regular old phone, your cell phone. And then we'll present you an IVR that there's also something we're going to create here during this presentation. And essentially what's going to happen is we are going to use the SDK again. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I think you do. We are going to use the SDK, which is a tool that is part of the project. That tool is going to generate a call. We're going to use a VoIP service provider, and that VoIP service provider is going to take that phone call all the way up to your phone. Once you answer your phone, then an application that will also build here today will take control of this media stream. It's a typical IVR, like the ones you hear when you call a bank or something like that. So that's all I have as far as presentation. We're going to go right on into the practical exercise. unless we have questions. Still good?
I think we're good on questions for.
Okay. If you could confirm that you could see my screen, I think you can. Okay, perfect. So in order for us to do this exercise, we have a few requirements. Okay, so the first requirement is that we need a set of credentials to run this exercise. And in order to obtain those credentials, I'll ask you guys to go to fonoser.com. If you go to this yellow button that says Get Early Access, you can click on it. And it's going to ask you a few questions. Really, the only important question here is that you give me your email, because we will send you a set of credentials. You can bypass this company portion. This really doesn't matter for this. Okay, that part is important. You don't have to use an enterprise email. You can use your Gmail, and that's fine. And then again, this doesn't really apply to this. So at the end, yep, just click accept, and that's going to start sending an email to some of my engineers, which are on the back end supporting this this event. Okay. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna need is to see if we can. Everybody needs to install Node.js. It's also a requirement. Here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the Node.js org. Okay, and if you don't have Node.js installed, you can use one of those links. And because in my case, I'm on a Mac OS, but if you're using Windows, then you should download the Windows version of Node.js. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, it's a good opportunity to just, you guys take a second so you can download this tool. I know it's gonna take probably 2-3 minutes, maybe more. And I'm gonna wait for everybody. I wonder if there's a way in which I could see, actually, I could see this. Let's stop sharing for a second. Because I'm on the chat right now. Two things. So as you guys register on fonoser.com, if everybody could give me a thumbs up by saying ready on the chat, that will really help me to estimate, if most people are already registered out there. So everybody just go to the chat and just write ready whenever you finish doing the registration portion. Wow, this is great. This just happens live. I've been just talking to myself here. Thank you, Angie. Yeah, I was just saying, thanks. It's a pleasure talking to you, Eddie, earlier. How's it going, Mac? Okay, somebody asked for the registration. So registration is going to be at https://phonoserve.com. You'll go to the website and you'll find a yellow button that says "Get Early Access." It's gonna ask you for some information, but the only thing that matters right now is your email. It doesn't have to be an enterprise email. It could just be your personal email. And so again, for everybody that missed it, as soon as you're done doing the registration, just give me a thumbs up by saying that you are ready. I'm kind of doing a count here, and when I see most people through, then I'll go ahead and move along, move to the next step. Okay, I read you, Nate. Nate is ready. Hey, Max. So, no, you're fine, Max. So, this is something we set up specifically for the conference. So essentially, I'm waiting for most people to finish, and then we'll send the credentials to everybody at once. Cool. So we are going to move to the next step. Please, as you can continue finishing the registration, just go ahead and mention ready. But for now, I'm just going to move on to the next step. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to need is to install Node.js. I recommend using MVM if you already have it. If not, then you can go to nodejs.org. I think I already kind of mentioned this, but you can download npm, and I'm on a Mac here. If you're on Windows, you should see a different link here that will take you to Windows, to the Windows download, I should say. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. Whenever we are through the downloading npm, assuming you didn't have it already, I need the same thing, ready with npm or Node.js. Those are one of my kids over here. I got you. Got you, Hiti, with the, not sure if I'm pronouncing it right now, your name right, but I see you already with the Node.js installation. Thank you, Murphy. Oh, nice. Yeah, they're here. I told my kids to go up to stay upstairs that I have a meeting, but they decided I want to come out. Come say hello or something at least. Assume that most people are through the installation on, okay, there you go. Thank you, Ray. Ray, my man. I think we're probably family or something, man. How's it going? Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move forward. We are going to start sending all the credentials to everybody that register. If you miss that portion, you still want to participate, then again, go to https fonoset.com, find that yellow button, go through the form, fill everything out, and then we'll send you a set of credentials. And then if you miss that portion, then also you need to install Node.js so you can do the practical exercise. Now, if everybody's ready with Node.js, the next thing we are going to do is install the CTL tool, the command control tool. Essentially, this tool is going to allow us to interact with the Fonos deployment. Okay, I kind of mentioned that or hinted that on the repo. We are not going to install the entire infrastructure because it's really not practical for this setting. However, we do have a demo version of this application set up online, and we're going to register and log into it just in a few seconds. Okay, so all right, so let's do here. I think a lot of people love this. To install the command and control tool, we're going to go ahead and type npm install -g to make it global at Fonos/CTL.
Should we see your screen?
Oh, that is actually a good idea. Thank you so much. If you could confirm that you can see my screen, please. Actually, yeah. There you go. Perfect. Is that big enough? I think it is. It looks great. It looks good on my other screen. All right, so something that's important for me to mention, this is, I didn't mention this at all at the beginning of the talk. So this is an early stage, very early stage software. We actually started a few months ago in December to put this software together. So it's a very early stage software, and there could be some errors out there. So if you see something weird, please. Thing we're gonna do is, well, first I would like for everybody to give me a thumbs up when we are ready with the installation of the npm correction, the CTL tool. Thumbs up, or you can just say ready. That work? Okay, somebody says here. Okay, somebody's asking, what do we use the CTL for? For sure, I can answer that question. So the CTL stands for command control tool rather, and the control tool, as you guys are going to see here in a second, we are going to use that control tool to generate an application, a voice application. We are going to use to connect, or rather create, all the resources that you need to set up your VoIP network. And then at the end, we're going to use the same tool to originate a call to your phone. Does that answer your question, Hiti? I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. Okay, that's fine. So if you're still installing, we're just gonna wait for a few more minutes. And if anybody has any question while we wait for the group to catch up, then this is a good. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna drink my coffee.
It looks like maybe making the font just a little bit bigger in your editor would be helpful for a couple people.
Is that a little better? Okay, yeah, I see some people. Yeah, so try to make it a little bigger. So hopefully that looks better. Okay, I see some. Okay, I see. Okay, I see that some of you guys are having issues. I'm sorry that you're having issues. Perhaps I know Richard and some other guys on my team. Please, if you guys could assist, that would be great.
You're muted again, Pedro.
Are having issues installing the tool. Richard, I know you're in the crowd, so if you could help, that'd be great. Okay, and so we are going to continue here. So the next step for those of you that are ready is we're going to authenticate against the Fonos deployment. Okay, and to do that, we are going to type Fonos auth login. Okay, and this is probably a good time to have that email that we send, because we are gonna use some of that information. Okay, so if you could confirm that you received the email with the credentials, that would be great. Before I move to the next steps. Okay, yeah, I see that. Ray, you got the email. Thank you. Okay. I am not even gonna try to pronounce your names. I'm terrible at names, so I got it. You guys, you have. Yeah, that's a good point, Ray. Thank you. So we did have some issues with the SMTP server, and some of our emails were going to the spam. So please check your spam just in case. We need to put a thumbs up thing in here so we can be like, yeah, we got it.
Pedro, you're muted.
I'm trying to prevent you guys from listening from me drink. Okay, cool. Anyhow, I'm just gonna let you guys listen to my drinking. That'll be great. All right. Anyhow, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to our console. We're gonna type Fonos out login, and for this first option that says API endpoint, you're just gonna press enter and pick up the default value. Now for access key ID, we send you an email that has the access key ID for your account. Okay, so all you need to do is just copy out that key ID, paste it in there. Then you're gonna do the same thing with the token, making sure that you don't add extra spaces or anything like that. And then when you're done, you can just hit enter, and that's gonna log you in on the server. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna assume that everybody's almost pretty much catching up. Remember, all I did is we just hit Fonos authentication login, and then immediately after that, we went default on API endpoint. We used the access key ID that we received in the email. I'm just gonna skip that for now. And then we did the same thing with the access key token. In this case, I'm gonna say no because I already did this, but this is where we're at, okay? Now, the next step for us is to create a voice application, okay? And to do that, here, I'm gonna remove the one I have over here. Make sure that I'm on the same page with you. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to create a new folder. I'm gonna call it Hacking with a Homie. We're gonna go inside that folder. And in here, we are going to use the command Fonos apps init. Now, I just wanted to mention real quick, all the steps that I'm following here, they're all in the repo. Richard, if you could share the repo. So if you are a little bit behind from the practical exercise, it's okay to follow the guide and try to catch up if you can, okay? Now in here, as we generate our template or the skeleton, like you could say, of the application, you can pretty much just hit enter with everything. I'm gonna add a description here, you don't have to. And then for the endpoint, you're just gonna leave it as default. I'm gonna put in my name in here. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And then for the license, I'm gonna go with MIT because why not? And then when I'm done, oops, that's probably not something I have here. You're gonna have a structure that is gonna look similar to this, with a package JSON and a source directory. And if I type package JSON, it's gonna be essentially the exact same thing that we just typed a second ago on the console. Same thing with the source file. We have a file here that has the application we're gonna run. Now, let me just stop here for a second. So if I go into the application, this default application that we have in front of us, that's what the person is gonna receive in the other end. This is what you're gonna hear when you call the application. So I'm just gonna change it up. You're welcome to put something different here. I can read the Home 2021. I don't think I have any typos in here. Okay. Okay. me see if I can. Okay, so I see, I'm just looking at the chat and it seems that some are a little behind. Okay, so Richard, if you could, I see some people are asking for the access key ID, so if you could get with them and help them out the best you can, that'd be great. Again, if you did receive your credentials and you're a little behind on the exercise, you can go to the chat, go to the Hacking with the Homie DC 2021. You can find the programmable voice talk, and you can try to catch up. Actually, I'm just gonna post it right here. You can just go here and do your best to catch up to what we're at right now. Okay. Now moving on. Something that I wanted to caveat. In this case, I'm gonna go with a very simple application that is gonna call you. It's gonna play this this text here that says hacking with the homies. Now you can do some more complex things with this by using different verbs, right? So you can use the play to play a file on that's to stream a file that's somewhere on the internet. You can use the gather command to take some input from the user. You can use the stash command to save some data as part of the call record. I mean, there's a ton of different things that you can do with this, but this is the most basic use case you'll find. Now, if you want to find more complex use cases, you're welcome to go to GitHub and find our Fonos repo. And inside the examples folder, there is some more advanced use cases like the presidential poll that I have here. I mean, this has all the different options, all the different verbs, like the gather verb. It's got you got using the stash somewhere in here. Yep, I'm using the stash commands. All these other verbs are available. We even have a use case or an example that allows you to connect and pretty much mix the Google Dialflow with Fonos to create a conversational programmable voice application. So you can, it's pretty similar to what you will do with Alexa. You can talk and she will give you an answer. You can save those triggers and all that. That's a little bit more advanced use case, a little bit more advanced example. But I'm gonna go with the simplest hello world we can do. Okay. Anyhow, so I'm gonna save this, and the next step is going to be run a Fonos apps deploy. Okay, you're gonna do that from within the project that you just created. And what that's going to do is, ooh, looks like I already have an application with that name. Okay. Okay, anyhow, so for you, it's gonna look a little different because, let's see. For you, it's gonna look a little different when you run the Fonos apps deploy. In my case, I'm just gonna override the one I already have. Yeah, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like deploying application, and it's gonna give you an ID for that application, a reference, okay? I need everybody to save that reference, put it on a notepad or something, because we're gonna use it here in a minute. And if you forget it, you can check your work with Fonos apps ls, and it's gonna tell you the reference. We're gonna need that here in a second. Now, the next step is going to be to create a provider, okay? So for that, we are going to type Fonos provider create. Let me check in the chat, make sure that everybody's following on the talk. Okay, just a quick check on everybody. Can everybody give me a thumbs up or an indication that you're following along just fine? Just give me a ready so I know that everybody's just following me. Okay, there we go. So I see I can't pronounce your name without messing it up. I see Ray Sanders. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. Okay. Okay, I see that everybody's good. Perfect. Okay, so next thing, we're going to create a provider. For this, we send you information on the email that you're going to use. Here you go. So I'm going to go with, let's see, I have that copy somewhere in here. So you're going to use this account, the hacking with the homie at the end. Actually, I'm just going to put a friendly name here. Hacking with the. There you go. You're just going to copy and paste it to the name. You're going to copy and paste the secret that we sent. And then on the host, you're going to use this New York 1 VoIP.ms. Okay, for the transport, you're going to select TCP only today. And then for the expiration, just use the default 300. Now I'm not gonna save this because I already created this information. In your case, you will press enter or yes. In my case, I'm gonna say no. But if you want to check your work, you can always type Fonos providers ls. Oop, that's the wrong command. And boom, it's gonna give you. It's gonna tell you the reference, the name, the username. You just use the host and some other additional information. Okay, let me just check on everybody. Okay, I'm gonna assume that everybody's doing good so far, so I'm just gonna keep going. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a number. Now, this is the number that is gonna show up on the screen when you make the call. You can also call to this number and the application is gonna be presented to you. So either way, it will work. Now, same as before, you're gonna take the number we send you on the email, and you're just gonna throw it in here. You're gonna pick your service provider. There's only one, so you just go with that one. Go ahead and skip the AOR link option. Don't worry about that. Just press enter. And here you're gonna notice an ingress app option. It should have the same name of the application you're going with, hacking with the homie option. So I'm just gonna press enter for that one. Okay, same as before. I'm not gonna say yes because I already created this, but you're welcome to say yes. And again, to check your work, you can just type Fonos numbers ls. And you'll see a number with reference, and you'll see a reference to the provider as well. CD default. Richard, there's Heat is having an issue with CD default, so yeah, just if you could help him out, that'd be great. Okay, so This is the last step within the creating network portion. So we're just gonna go ahead and type Fonos domains create. Oops. Now I just want to take a step back. Maybe I went too fast in this. So the provider, just to give everybody a little bit of a background on what that means. So the provider that we just created, that in the last step where we put the name in the actually somewhere over here. Yeah. So that is a a company or a business, if you want to call it that way, that sits in between Phonoster and your phone, right? So essentially, they're going to route that phone call that we're going to make from their network, and that phone call is going to land in your cell phone, right? That's what the provider means, essentially. Now, we just added a number, so that's pretty much self-explanatory. Now, the domain portion, it represents your organization. So let's say you work at let's just say Duo, right? Since they're sponsoring this event. So let's say you want to create a network for Duo, and you will type here, Duo. I hope I'm writing this correctly as a friendly name, and then you will type something like duo.com or .net, whatever the domain you want to use. And then it's going to show you the number that you just created, and you're going to select that number. Okay, boom, boom. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to attach the number we created on the last step. It's going to attach that to the domain we're about to create here in a second. And what that means is that when you make a phone call to that number, or you make a phone call from that number, rather, it's gonna use the information we just created to originate that phone call. Okay, it makes sense. It's gonna make sense here in one second. So I'm gonna say abort. Now I'm just gonna check my Word really quick by typing providers ls. That's the information we did on our first step. Then I'm gonna type numbers ls. That's gonna give me the number I created on a few steps before. And then at the end, I'm gonna type domains. And that's gonna show me the domain, a domain that I created earlier with a fictitious company. Okay, there you go. So before I move on, we're gonna move to another phase, so to speak. So I want everybody to just give me a ready when you're ready. Ray, I'm just gonna say Bong. I think I'm getting it right. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so I have two readies. I'm about to move on to another somewhat of a big step. So if we could, if everybody could just give me a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. if you want to delete one of the applications we just created, you can just type Fonos, whatever resource you want. So for example, Fonos numbers, you take RM, thank you, Vaughn, and you type whatever reference. So this is how you'll delete it. That was a question asked here in the chat. Okay, perfect. So I see a few thumbs up. I think most people probably through already. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to create an application using the SDK, and we're going to originate a call to the number we created earlier, okay? And to do that, what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to install the SDK, and I'm going to do that by typing npm install at, let's see, for npm I could save it if I wanted, but npm Fonos SDK. This is going to be a little different than the installation we did earlier. Earlier, we installed a control tool. Now we're installing the SDK, which is all the steps we just did for creating the providers, the numbers, the domain. You can do the exact same thing using the SDK as well. It's just a more programmatic way to create those resources, right? Than the control tool is more of a convenience. But typically, you'll probably use the SDK when you want to embed Fonos as part of your application. Perfect. So we have that, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a call script here. You don't have to do it in the command line, but I'm just that kind of person. And I'm going to copy. If you go all the way down to the README for the on the repo, you can just literally copy everything from there and just dump it in here. Boom. Oh my God, this is scary here. Let me just go ahead and delete this. Okay. And so the changes you're going to make here are really depending on the configuration we send you. So you're going to use the number that we send you on the from portion, and then on the to portion, you're going to put, your number, a number that you have access, like on a landline phone or maybe your cell phone or something like that. And then on the application portion, I'm just gonna go to another screen. And I'm just gonna find my reference. If you lost your reference for whatever reason, you can just go here, type Fonos apps ls, and that's gonna give you the reference. I'm gonna type the reference in there. I already have the number set up the way I want it. Save it. And then we are going to kind of wait for everybody because we're about to kick off the call portion. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and send it. I'm gonna send the call. I'm gonna have the opportunity here to see the calls as you guys send it. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. So if you guys are through and you follow along and you went all the way to this portion of the practical exercise, the next thing you need to do is just hit no call, and that's going to give you kind of a confirmation that the call was sent to the server. And as long as you guys start, as long as everybody start hitting that calling, then I'm going to start seeing your phone call going through the system. if you're having any issues at all, this is a good time for it's a good time for anybody to just let me know about the issue you're having. Okay, I see a phone call here going through. I'm gonna keep it small for privacy reasons. So there is somebody that made a call, and right now it should have played the audio for you. If you could put in the chat that you successfully received the phone call, that'd be great. You. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. Well, so far we have one person that goes through. So let's see if we can get as many as possible here. I have a total of 15 people that are doing the exercise. Shim, that is really weird. We haven't had that issue, and I wonder if you could try it again to run the SDK, the installation of the SDK. So essentially, you should be from within the folder. You do something like npmi -- save if you want. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Richard. Let me see if I. Okay, I think I see a second person here that just went through. It's somebody that was using the acme.com. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate the help. I see you're helping a lot in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so I see that we have only 10 minutes left. So I think I'm gonna call it good, and this is gonna be an opportunity for us to try to troubleshoot some of the issues that some of you guys might have.